within reason.
Perfect. So yeah, let everybody into the auditorium. We're ready for a packed stadium.
We had about 40 registered this morning.
Yeah.
How is the weather in California?
Well, it was 90 degrees today.
Oh.
But I
On
think
the
next week it's going to start cooling down for us.
And a difference here is you don't get as much humidity as you would get in other parts of the country. So 90 degrees is warm, but it's not nearly like it might be in other parts of the country.
Yeah, it's not stifling.
Yeah.
Well, in Florida, we are waiting for a hurricane. So that's how crazy it is. It's already November.
Yeah. Where in Florida do you live?
I live between Fort Lauderdale and Miami in a place called Weston.
Okay. And then how long are you going to be in Portugal?
Probably until December.
Okay.
Because I have some family here. Mm-hmm. So I normally spend, my son lives in London and all my family is in here and my husband's family. So we take, most of the years we take these 2 months to spend close to the family and go through Thanksgiving and Christmas and all of that.
Nice. That's nice. And what kind of weather is in Portugal right now?
It's winter. It's cold. It's not cold because we don't have very cold winters, but right now it's raining.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, we'll just wait a couple minutes and let more people get in.
Okay.
So Brian, I'll leave it up to you when you want to start.
Yeah, did you want it in the chat or
people filter in?
I noticed in your comments you said put your comments in the chat.
Right.
Did you want that or the Q&A for their questions? Okay, very good. So ready?
Yes. Yep.
Excellent, excellent, excellent. Well, thank you very much for all of you that are joining us, for both our realtor associates as well as to any consumers who might be considering our very hot topic today. I'm Brian Yates. I'm the 2020 President-elect for Tri-Counties Association of Realtors and the chair for the Global Business Council. I'd like to thank everyone for registering for this webinar, and of course, looking forward to the takeaways that we have for realtors, how they could grow their international business, and for any consumers out there or people that are looking at retiring into the other states, that these might be two wonderful locations that you would consider. We have a couple of housekeeping rules. If you have questions, please keep them or put them in the Q&A box. Laura Halverson will be asking the questions to the presenters. All questions will be asked after each presentation. And also the session is being recorded and can be found on the Tri-Counties website, which is trico, Realtors, plural, .com. And what you do is you click on the global info, and of course, that'll be there for future viewing. We have two great speakers today. The Global Business Council came up with the idea that when they saw the International Living article that is entitled Top 10 Places to Retire. Today, we have two of those top 10 places. Portugal, which was ranked #1, and Costa Rica, that was ranked #3. Our hope with today's session is that you learn about the countries and maybe you didn't know, and that your knowledge is expanded on the international business. Before I do introductions, I wanted to let you know that we are looking to grow our business, Global Business Council. And if any of you are interested in being a part of that, please reach out to us or even put it in the chat box. And I know that you would learn a lot. We appreciate your help, and we want to make this a rewarding experience for 2021 as well. So the first country that we're going to explore is Portugal. Here to talk about Portugal is Vira Ferreira. Vira was named the 2019 Global Ambassador to Portugal, Spain, Italy, and Andorra by NAR. After owning and operating her own translation business, Vira transitioned to real estate over 19 years ago. Since then, she served as the National Association of Realtors President Liaison to Portugal from 2016 to 2018. And in 2019, she was nominated as Global Ambassador to Italy, Portugal, Spain, and Andorra, a position that she still holds today. Global ambassadors play a dynamic role in maintaining and further expanding NAR's breadth worldwide. The National Association of Realtors membership spans the globe with realtors on all continents in over 70 countries, and its global alliances are helping realtors to expand their business beyond the borders. Vira has a bachelor's degree from Lisbon University. She's multilingual and multicultural. She is fluent in English, Portuguese, and Spanish, and is well regarded for her cultural sensitivity, high level of professionalism, integrity, listing presentations, marketing, and negotiation skills. And she offers a personalized real estate service for her diverse and demanding clientele. As a CIPS, or a Certified International Property Specialist, Vira has successfully helped clients around the globe to navigate sometimes difficult negotiations and legal processes in real estate transactions. She is a strong believer in customer service, the code of ethics, standard practices of the National Association of Realtors. She believes in giving back to the community where she lives and she serves. She has served as fundraiser president for American Association of University Women Weston Branch, an organization that advances equality for women and girls for advocacy, education, philanthropy, and research. She is a specialist in relocation, luxury homes, short sales, retirement, and vacation homes. So welcome, Vira. We're excited to hear from you. We're looking forward to hearing more about this beautiful area. As you have pictures on the slides, you'll have well over 30 minutes. And of course, we're going to have questions and answers after the fact. So take it away.
Thank you so much, Brian. And I also want to thank the Tri-Counties Global Business Council and Tri-Counties Association of Realtors for this opportunity to present Portugal. And of course, Laura, that was the first person to reach out to me for this presentation. Thank you. And of course, with no further delay, let's move on. So Portugal, a real estate investor's guide. That's today's topics. Why Portugal? Portugal real estate and international buyers. Okay, why Portugal? Portugal, it was, as Brian already said, was dominated as the best place to retire in 2020. According to the annual Global Retirement Index and the International Investment Magazine. And as you can see, Portugal, it's very diverse, and we have neighbors on the right. Our neighbor is Spain, and on the left, the only thing we have is the Atlantic Ocean. The history of Portugal. Portugal is a very old country, was formed in 868, and kingdom became a kingdom of Portugal at 1143, one of the oldest nation states in the world, became a republic in 1910, is a stable democracy country. The capital is Lisbon. And as you can see, we are a very small country. We are basically just over 10 million people. We are a founder member of NATO, a member of United Nations, a member of the European Union since 1986, and we have had diplomatic ties with the US since 1791. And according to the State Department, one of the oldest embassies, one of the oldest US consulates operating in the world is located in the Azores. The Azores is an island out of in Atlantic, which are also Portuguese. And also the US Air Force 65th Air Base Group also operates from the islands of the Azores. So buyers' criteria for selecting Portugal. This was done in a recent survey, and what they say was the climate, people, gastronomy, safety, low cost of living, skilled human capital, and a good infrastructure. And let's start with the climate. We had a very mild climate. We have short winters and very dry and hot summers. We have an average of 239 days of sun a year. In the north, at the higher elevations, winter temperatures average is between 37 and 40 degrees Fahrenheit. And on the southern parts of the country, temperatures average is around 74. And now we have the people. The people, we are a very diverse country, and we are recognized basically by our hospitality and being a friendly people. We welcome foreigners, and we are a very tolerant people. Overall, we are very happy, and yes, we love soccer. And during the summer, we have, doesn't matter where you go, small towns or big towns, you have festivals that go from traditional Portuguese dance to classic music and classic concerts. So you have a variety of things to do. The gastronomy of Portugal is rich, is very rich. The cuisine is very rich. and varies with its landscape. We do have, as you see, we have 1,114 miles of Atlantic coast. So we love fish. Our diet is based on a Mediterranean diet. Most of the Portuguese consume almost daily fresh fish, and very simple, just grilled with salt and pepper. Some of our dishes are influenced by Africa, India, and Brazil. For instance, on your right side, on the upper right side, you see a dish which is called cataplana. And the cataplana is a bowl, and that was left to us by the Moors. The wine, we are a country, a wine country. We have 31 different wines produced in regions across the country, fifth largest wine producer in Europe. And of course, we are well known for Port wine, the Madeira, and the Vinho Verde. On the health system, we have a national health system, which everybody has access to. And we also have a volunteer private system. We have ranked 13 best health system in Europe and 12 by the World Health Organization, with 190 countries, United Nations members. Of course, most foreigners choose to have a private insurance. However, I must say that a private insurance here compared with in the States, it's very inexpensive. As I said before, I normally spend long times here in Portugal, and we pay, my husband and I, we pay just 210 euros per month. Of course, depends what you want to cover, but it is very inexpensive compared with the United States. And as you can see, our institutions, our hospitals are very modern. And for instance, the one on the bottom, it's called Centro Champalimau, and it's just only dedicated to cancer research. The education is, it's also a very good education. We have very good education. What you can see on the left, it's the Coimbra University, is one of the oldest in Europe. It was founded in 1290 by the King Dinis. It was a royal palace. The university is one of the only 5 in the world listed as a World Heritage Site. University of Lisbon, it ranks 50 on best global universities and 3rd best European universities. High education in Portugal is very affordable also, again, compared with the United States. Even the private universities compared with the United States are extremely affordable. It is a well-rounded education with a high percentage of graduates. I should add that, for instance, just from the universities in Lisbon, every year about 35,000 students graduate. And of course, this is just from Lisbon. Then we have Porto and Coimbra and Aveiro, other big cities. Also very high percentage graduate. I also have to add that 61% of the Portuguese, they speak a foreign language, and 78% students learn at least 2 languages or more, compared with just 65 in the European Union, 53% in France, and 42% in Spain. English is mandatory from elementary school. So you easily find most of the people here speak some English, and the young people speak a very acceptable English. You get along easily. And now we are talking about the culture. So the World Heritage Sites, we have a very diverse sites. We have classified 24 sites by UNESCO as a World Heritage Sites. You can find from ancient ruins to historical castles. Safety and quality of life. We have ranked as the 3rd safest country in the world, best place to retire, which I already mentioned, by the Global Retirement Index, and top 10 countries with the best weather and climate. So well-connected. Well-connected, basically, we have two big airports. One is in Porto and the other one is in Lisbon. In fact, there is one missing, which is in the south of the country, in Faro. But that one basically is just the hub for low-cost flights within Europe. But the major international airports are basically Porto, Lisboa, and Ponta Delgada. Ponta Delgada, it's the one that I mentioned in the Azores. From Porto, you have about, Porto connects 100 cities, direct flights. In Lisbon has direct flights for 131 cities. Direct flights from Lisbon, Porto, and Ponta Delgada to Atlanta, Boston, Miami, New York, Oakland, Philadelphia, Providence, and Washington. And then you have the major European countries, so cities: London, Frankfurt, Paris, Geneva, Madrid, Munich, and Moscow. And already started, unfortunately, I think right now it's not operating, but they started in June 2019. They started a direct flight to San Francisco and Washington, DC, and Chicago. So as I said before, so Lisbon is about 2.5 hours from major European cities, 7.5 hours from New York, no stop. These are all no stop flights. And I'm sorry, but it's about 11 hours from Los Angeles and San Francisco. But it's worth it, it's worth it. And we do have good and modern infrastructures, as you can see, in transportation, hotels, and convention centers. Because of our good infrastructures, we attract big conventions, and one of them is the Web Summit. Portugal has became a hub for startups all over the world, and its technological landscape has been growing because of our infrastructures. So, and the Web Summit was previously held in Dublin and was moved to Lisbon in 2016. Right now, the last one was, of course, in 2019, and attracted about 76 million people. I'm sorry, 1,000 people. We are strategic, our strategic location, and we are investor friendly. So these are some of the companies well known all over the world that have invested here in Portugal and operate here. According to a report that it just came out, in fact came out on the October 26th, was a report done by the American Chamber of Commerce in Portugal, and I'm sorry, and the PwC, the consulting firm. The United States have invested in 5 years, the investment from the United States in 5 years exceeded $1.1 billion and create approximately 6,806 jobs. Basically, the report was to determine how important the US investment were in Portugal and their economy. And the other thing was that the US, on the other hand, export to Portugal 1.72 billion in machinery, aircraft, mineral fuel, and vehicles. The economic growth. So the economic growth, as you can see, since the 2008 crash, the economy has recovered and in a steady pace. And if you can see, in fact, the economy has been growing at a higher pace than in the EU. Okay, let's try to get into what everybody's also looking. NAR, in Portugal, there is NAR has two bilateral partners in Portugal. It's APEMIP and PIR, Portuguese International Realty. Basically, Portuguese International Realty is the arm for education. They are really responsible for the education and the courses and designations that they bring from NAR. International buyers. Portugal and the US has enacted, sorry, my notes here. Okay, the low prices of housing in relation to other European countries are attractive. And this on the right, you have the major countries that are buying right now in Portugal. French, UK, Brazil, Germany, and China. We also are attracting other nations, such as recently we have a lot of inquiries from Russians, South Africa, and the US right now invests in real estate about 4.7%. And Portugal and the US has enacted an income tax agreement to prevent double taxation. So that it's also very attractive. We do have the Portuguese golden visa, and that's the benefits. So travel across 26 countries in Europe. Same rights apply to the spouse and dependent children. We have a high competitive return on investment. It's require a minimum early residency. The people can live, work, and study in Portugal. And the investments can be as little as $350,000. And after 5 years, the person may apply for a European passport. And so the nationalities of investors who applied for golden visas, the first ones are Chinese, then Brazilians, and we have Turkey, US, Vietnam, South Africa, Russia. So that's the countries that right now are applying for golden visas. The golden visa eligibility. I probably don't need to spend a lot of time explaining this. I can probably just send it and you send the presentation. But and one of the reasons that I think I shouldn't spend too much time, it's because right now it's in the parliament to be discussed and might change. A few things might change. But as you can see, you basically before you have to invest $1 million, create at least 10 jobs, acquisition of real estate greater than 500,000, could be two properties, and so on. The 350,000 euros, it was basically for people that would rehabilitate old buildings, and that would be an incentive. Okay, that's basically the golden visa timeline in Portugal. You apply for the golden visa, and then you basically apply almost every 2 years until finally on the 5th year you just apply for residency if you determine to. And the golden visas issued. As you can see the trends, we have the China. As you can see, it's in decline, and it's normal. I think it's in decline in most of the countries around the world, and that's because they are having more issues in getting the money out of China. So that's one of the reasons. And Brazil, it's more or less stable. They're continuing to invest in Portugal, even 2020 with the pandemic, and they still invest in Portugal. And the other countries, Turkey, South Africa, and Russia, they basically are stable also with their investment and their issuing golden visas. Golden visas type requested by June 2020. So for buildings that I mentioned, they were 20%. Transferring capital was just 3%. Investment funds was 3%. And properties, people that just acquired the golden visa, just buying properties, 74%. International buyers, no habitual residents. This is basically more or less the same what we have here in the States, the H-1B visa, which is for highly educated professionals. Professionals with exclusive jobs like doctors, nurses, tax advisors, senior executives for companies. So, and one of the things that is attractive is that they will benefit from a fixed rate of income tax of 20%. So it's a fixed rate for, I believe, is 10 years. But again, these things are also this one is also in Parliament. This law is also in the Parliament to be discussed. I don't think, nobody thinks that right now with the COVID and the situation in the economy, everybody thinks that they will not touch anything and that everything will stay the same. Okay, this is a variety of real estate opportunities. As you can see, you have different types of opportunities. You have very sleek, modern properties. You have mansions. You have farmhouses, and just normal buildings, condominium buildings. The prices are in euros. Contracts, and I would say the best way for a foreigner is contract an attorney and look for a IRM or a CIPS as a buyer agent. Foreigners, they may finance up to 60%, and properties are all properties are on the National Public Registry. And the other thing is, I also encourage be familiarized with the market trends and prices, and analyze the main real estate agencies and real estate. There is a couple of good real estate portals. We don't have a MLS, unfortunately, but there is good portals such Idealist that people can easily access, the public in general can access and have an idea about prices of properties and the areas. This is just one development, recent development in downtown Lisbon, and that's basically just the prices. This building has been rehabilitated and remodeled. It's an older building. You can see for the windows, the huge windows. So, but it's just became very beautiful. We also have gated communities, and the purchasing process. Foreign investors have equal rights. In order for to proceed with a purchasing, we have to do a purchasing contract. The only thing it's very different from the United States is the deposit. It's normally the standard is about 10% and is no refundable. But on the other hand, if the seller for some reason decided not to sell, they have to return the deposit in double. So, and the final payment is at closing. Okay. I'm sorry, there is another thing. This is a project, and it's worth to mention that the Golf World magazine presented the top 10 golf courses of continental Europe in the Algarve. So for people that like golf, and just in the Algarve, there is about in 115 kilometers, there is 35 golf courses. So the real estate practices, property transfer tax, notary fees, registration fees, stamp duty fees, attorney fees, they range more or less between 5 and 8%. The real estate commission is paid by the seller. And signing of the papers, it's only done through a public notary. And after you buy the property, you have a property tax very low. It's between 0.2 and 0.4%. Referral practices. Yes, they pay referral here. The real estate agents pay referral fees, and normally it's between 25% and 30%. The commission here, it's 5%. As I said before, I strongly recommend that buyers or sellers use CIPS, ABRs, or international realtors members to do the transaction, and they refer buyers and sellers. Standard agreement is used, or sometimes people also use the CIPS form to refer, to send refers. And to list or close, I strongly recommend people to use a real estate partner here in the country. The overseas buyers were responsible for 3.4 billion euros, or 9.5% of the total transactions in real estate in Portugal. Okay, this is where the international buyers are buying. They are buying in the Porto area. They are buying 42% buy in the Porto area in the north. Lisbon about 23%, and in the Algarve 11%. Okay, and I'm sorry. Europe best kept secret. So as I mentioned before, you have different types of properties that you can choose to, and in some instance on the right, the bottom right, it's in an area that was discovered by the French and is called the Comporta, and it's very, very exclusive, and used to be basically the beaches were wild, and you would go there and you wouldn't see anybody there. Today, of course, the French discovered it, and there is no secret anymore. And in good company, and this is just to show people that most of us know from the media or from the movies, or that has bought property in Portugal. And I guess that's all I have for today.
Very nice.
Yeah, that was great.
That was
We do have a-
amazing.
We do have a couple of questions.
Yeah, sure.
Let me see. You may have answered a little bit of it, but Lena Martinez wants to know, what's the best, safest hotel to stay, and how many golf courses are there? Now, I think you said there were 35 golf
35.
courses.
Yeah, in the Algarve, just in the Algarve.
Okay.
Yeah, but there is more. There is more all over the place. In Lisbon, there is in Lisbon, in Porto. So there is more golf courses. Yeah, but in the Algarve, probably because in the Algarve there is big international communities, special for English from UK and Germany, and so in the Algarve there is 35 in 100, in the space of 115 kilometers.
Okay,
And
and
the hotels basically, I don't know if she wants names or areas. In Lisbon, the downtown Lisbon is a very safe area, and there is a lot of hotels and international names, so that she might be feel comfortable with the international names like Hyatt, Marriott. So. And in the north also, there is an area that it's very popular for tourism, which is Ribeira. It's close to the river, and close to the cellars, the Oporto wine cellars. There is plenty of hotels there also, and it's a safe area to stay.
Okay. And then I think you answered the, I think you might have answered this, but how are brokers paid there? You said the sellers, was it through the seller?
Yes, it's like in the States, the seller pays the commission and the commission is 5%.
Okay. And then the taxes on real property, you said that was 0.2 to 0.4%?
No, I said that all the taxes was about between 5 and 8%. The taxes, the stamp duty, the transfer tax, and including the attorney, it's more or less between 5 and 8%. What is the between 0.2 and 0.4 is the property tax.
Okay.
After you
Right.
buy the
Yeah.
property, it's like in the States, you have to pay property tax, and that is 0.2 and 0.4.
Okay.
Depends the area.
Okay. All right. So I think we answered all her questions. And then Carol would like to know, where are most people retiring? Are there retirement communities there?
Not really. But most of the foreigners that come to Portugal to retire, there is two places. One is in Lisbon, and it is called Cascais. And there is a lot. There is a big American community, and the other ones is all over Algarve. And the Algarve, because the weather is I would say hotter. It's the weather. It's nicer all year round. And in the Algarve, you have a couple. You have Lagos. You have Faro. You have Albufeira. So there is a couple of small cities, small towns where you find a lot of retirement people, special from England and Germany.
What was the name of the place you get again? You said in Lisbon?
Cascais.
Okay.
But I can send it to you, Laura.
Yeah. And if anybody wants it, just send me an email and I'll send it on to you.
Mm-hmm.
And let's see. Okay, I think those were all the questions. And then you were talking about healthcare earlier, and somebody was asking, do they accept Medicare there?
No.
No? Okay.
No, as far as I know, but I don't think so, because I investigated, and that was a couple of maybe 2 or 3 years ago, and no.
Okay. Well, I think that's all the questions we have.
Yeah, actually, I just wanted to add some comments. First of all, thanks for your presentation. I thought it was not only very informative, I think you hit on so many topics that I know that people who are of any age that are going to be moving there, especially also our retirees, would really want to know in case they wanted to make the transfer, right? A couple of observations. First of all, the country looks beautiful. I'm big on food. That looked delicious. I'm already hungry. I saw the beautiful waters, and the first thing I'm thinking of, I love to fish. I love to scuba dive. You hit on golf. I think those are some of the big things that people love the coast. They love some of these points. But the other thing too is in the diversity of the cultures and everything. I think too, when we're talking about the transfer from California to, or any other part of the country, I think we have a melting pot ourselves. So it's like, I could see where that would be an inviting place where you're seeing a lot of the same thing. And even for those that may not speak other languages, you're saying that in the country, they do learn English and so forth. So I think that it can be an easier transition, right?
Absolutely.
One of the things I did have a question on, first of all, the healthcare price I think is huge for our people because that continues to go up, right? So I
Mhm.
think that's a big drawing point. And of course, like you said, I mean, you got some people out here that like the cooler weather, but others that like it down below. We could even get our realtors thinking or talking to their clients about having a place up north where it's cooler, and then they could be like, what is it we call them? Snowbirds that come down, you know, when it gets want warmer temperatures. The question that wasn't answered, I wanted to ask you though. I know the property taxes, and that is ridiculous at 0.2% to 0.4%. Out here, as you know, we're looking at 1.25% or higher, depending on the state. What about, do the purchasers of property own the land, or do they lease the
Yes,
land?
yes, yes. It's owned. There
So I
is
think that,
no, like in New York or in London that no,
right.
you own the land.
Yeah, so I think that's huge for our audience to know because taking the cost of living here in all of those respects, not just the ownership of the property, but also in their living expenses and everything is just, I think they're really going to see their dollar stretched. And whether it's for retirement or even if it was for an investment property. I'm also a military veteran, right? You mentioned the US has a military base. Did I hear that correctly?
Yes,
Okay.
he has. He has in the Azores, in the
Yeah.
islands. Yep.
So I thought, you know, whether they're business people who are transferring out there, or if there's people who are in the military, for those of us that are working with the military, I think, you know, first of all, you're talking about the schools, which is very important to those of us that have kids that are going to be there. And then
But the schools,
secondly,
Brian,
go
I'm
ahead.
sorry to
Yeah,
interrupt you, but
please.
even if you want to have your kids in international schools, there is in Lisbon there is two American schools in Lisbon,
Okay.
and we have a French school and a German school, and in the Algarve there is three. And you
Okay.
also have, if you prefer your kids to follow the British system, there is also one in Lisbon and one in the Algarve. So there is a lot of
Choices, right?
choices. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. The other thing I was going to say is this, and I want to tell all of our listeners, because being in the military, the one thing you got to know is that your paycheck is not very big because the government is taking care of all of your expenses. And a lot of military don't feel like they could really buy a property. This is a fantastic opportunity for them that they could see they can buy a property. Now, could they rent it out if, let's say, after their tour of duty is done, that they could?
Yeah,
Yeah,
sure.
okay, so
A lot of
perfect.
people do that. Instead
Yeah,
of buying at the beginning, they just rent it, and just to have a feeling if they adapt, and if so, and if they like the place, they then look to buy. And
excellent.
rents are not, compared with the United States. Again, it's all relative, but compared with the United States, it's very inexpensive.
Yeah, to give an example, I know that you put up the price, I think it was 315,800 as euros, which translates to about 373,000 US. So for those that are thinking, and I know it's 60% LTV or to finance. Got it.
Yep.
So that was fantastic.
Up to
Yeah.
depends. As you know, everybody is different, but it's up to. As a foreigner, you can finance up to 60%.
Got it. Got it. Well, thank you very much. That was amazing.
Most welcome.
I'm already ready to go. I'm going to be talking to
Yeah, me
Laura
too.
about we need to have a convention out there or something like that, I think for our global event, maybe, right? So, very good.
You are all welcome here.
We can do a
Yes.
trade mission.
With open arms.
Very good. Very good. Well, moving on from that, again, thanks, Vera. The next country that we're going to explore is Costa Rica. And we have Ofelia. Ofelia, say your last name for me. I don't want to say that wrong.
Ulloa.
Ulloa.
Yes.
Did I say that correct? Oh, very good.
Yes, you did.
So she's here to give us insight on Costa Rica. She is the president, broker, and owner of Costa Rica's sole First Realty, with an emphasis on the sale and rental of commercial and residential properties in the west zone of San Jose, the capital and fastest growing area of the country. She's sales director for the projects in Costa Rica and charge of sales of entire projects in Costa Rica for more than 20 years experience. And since Costa Rica is an ecological or a green country and a world leader in preserving and contributing to the ecology of our planet, Ofelia is promoting the investment of private forest reserves in Costa Rica and Latin America. She is currently International Director of Costa Rican Chamber of Real Estate Brokers, which is CCCBR. Also President-elect 2021 of CILA, or the Real Estate Confederation of Latin America, and has been CILA North President from 2017 to 2019, and international member of the Board of Directors of NAR 2017. As an active member of CCCBR, NAR, CILA, FIA, BCI, I want some of these. I need some of those initials. She has the following designations: CIPS, or Certified International Property Specialist. She's ABR, or Accredited Buyers Representative, Sellers Representative Specialist. She's also completed the course for CRS, or Council Residential Specialist. And she was part of the NAR International Group, Presidential Advisory Group, that actively discusses and positions the best global opportunities for the NAR members. She's member of the Board of Directors for the Costa Rican Chamber of Real Estate Brokers, which she's done for 4 years, and the International Director for them for the last 4 years. Active member for the Organization of National and International Congress of, you're gonna have to tell me which one this is, FECEPAC 2011. And she's also director of the Renee Frank Award for Real Estate Excellence 2011 at national and international levels, and coordinator of the, is it the third Latin American Real Estate Congress, 2018, very good, which was held in San Jose, Costa Rica. So she created the new CCCBR International Chapter earlier in 2019. And with that, we're real excited to have you, Ofelia, to introduce us to this amazing country. That's another one on my bucket list, by the way. As I told you, I love to fish, and I know people have told me, gotta go. So,
well, thank you.
Please take it away.
Thank you. Laura, thank you for the invitation. And Vera, I really enjoyed it. We have a lot of things. You're going to hear me. We're going to have a lot of things in common between Portugal and Costa Rica. And I love Portugal. I've been there. And I love it. I think it's a beautiful country. Well, let me just share my presentation. There you go. I'm going to, is that, okay. That is okay. Costa Rica, of course, is my favorite topic. I've done it so many times. And I think an investment opportunity in today's global market. It's a very small country. It's a lot smaller than Portugal. We're only 5 million people. It has 7 provinces. All the names are there. San Jose, right here, the one that I'm pointing out, is the capital. This is where I'm at right now. We have two associations that belong, that are partners to NAR. Is our association and also the Costa Rican Global Association, that those are in the coastal areas. But we have an alliance and we work together. So that really makes it quite nice in order to cooperate from the GAM area, which is the Great Metropolitan Area, and the coastal areas. Well, Costa Rica, like I said, it has a population of 5 million people. It's located in Central America. Just let me see it. And it's usually compared to the size of West Virginia. It's always nice to see, you know, West Virginia is small states. So are we. And our currency is the colon. Right now is 722 colones to $1. No, I'm sorry, 611 to $1 and 722 to €1. Costa Rica is famous for its unique tropical environment. And it has, like it says there, ideal microclimates all year round. We don't have seasons. We have the dry or the wet season, but the temperature is the same all year round. Where I'm at, you know, it's an ideal temperature because it's at about 75 degrees all year round in the coastal areas. In the Pacific area, it's drier, that's about 80. And in the Atlantic area, which is the Caribbean side of it, is more humid, it's more lush, and it's hotter, you know, but it's so lush and so pretty. And of course, you know, as you can see, we have the oceans, we have the tropicals, we have the volcanoes, we have the lakes, we have the oceans. And there's one place in San Jose that you can actually go and see both oceans. You can see the Atlantic and you can see the Pacific. It's amazing. And it's something that is an awe, you know. I wrote some things down because I like to talk more than I like to read, but some of the things I think are important for you to know. And we don't have, you know, like I said, we have right now with the a hurricane in Nicaragua, which is right next to us, we only get rain. We never get hit with hurricanes or nothing. We are very blessed that way. And that is because of the position. And of course, we are an ecological country. We are a green country. We are a world leader in preserving and contributing to the ecology of the planet, and first in sustainable tourism. Costa Rica, being a green country, cares for its environment, and it is a world leader in preserving and contributing to the ecology of our planet, and ranked first in the sustainable tourism. Costa Rica was rewarded last year by the United Nations as Champions of the Earth. 27% of the country is parks and protected areas. Our goal is to have carbon neutral by 2023. 93% of the country's electricity comes from renewable sources, and we have the largest hydraulic plant in the isthmus for clean renewable energy. We're very much into the sustainable kind of living, and most of our projects right now are geared towards that. And I will explain later what is really happening with the results of the pandemic. And here it tells you all the national parks. You know, we really protected parks everywhere. Roughly 27% of Costa Rica territory, it's national parks or reserves, including 2 parks declared World Heritage Sites by UNESCO. This means most national parks and reserves are easily accessible from anywhere in the country, making Costa Rica an ideal destination if you want to be surrounded by natural things. I already told you we want to be neutral, you know, carbon neutral by 2023. This is one of the hydraulic plants that I mentioned about. And just to tell you where we're at, look at us. You know, we are right in the middle of Central America. So we have a fantastic location, like we always say, because we are in the middle of, to the north and to the south. And for some reason, as you see Costa Rica here, We are not affected by hurricanes. It goes to the north, it goes to the south, but it does not come to Costa Rica, and I hope God will still bless us because of it. And also, you know, the transportation, we have it by air, we have it by car and by land, and we have it by oceans. Okay, there are 2 international airports in Costa Rica. One is called the Juan Santa Maria International Airport, which is in San Jose, the capital. The other one is Daniel Oduber, which is in the coastal area. So you can fly directly from the States or from Canada or from Europe, really, into this. If you just want to enjoy the coastal areas, you fly right here. You don't have to come to this part, or you can do it vice versa. Here, of course, you'll be missing out a lot of the things that you don't have in the coastal areas. Like the mountains, remember we are one of the coffee growers in the region, so we have all this mountains and the microclimates, and it's what is amazing, you know, it could rain right where I'm at, and 5 minutes later from driving, it's dry. So all these microclimates makes Costa Rica quite unique and makes the flora and fauna very diverse. Because of these 2 airports, you know, and the access, Costa Rica is blessed by having all the right conditions for investment. I'm going to mention, and then I'm going to develop, you know, the business environment in Costa Rica, but one of the most stable democracies in the world, and this is, we're very, very, very proud of it. We really have no army, no wars, no revolutions. Costa Rica has been like that since 1948, that one of our presidents abolished the army. And we are, well, recently, because of a tax increase, you know, the people revolted, you know, and it was news all over the world, because we are not like that. We express everything by dialoguing, by talking. We, in fact, we have a president, ex-president, Dr. Oscar Arias, who is a Nobel Peace Prize winner. And for such a small country, is quite an accomplishment. And the reason is because he represents what we are. We are peaceful. We like to dialogue when we have all the problems, and we are known by that. And I think this is one of the attractions of Costa Rica. The currency, like I mentioned it, you know. And but before I get to that, let me just go into some of the things that I like to tell you. The business environment in Costa Rica. When one invests in a foreign country, one looks for the risk factors. This is what we do, you know, and try to find the following conditions: a democratic and safe country, excellent health universal system, a stable, good education, good geographical location, legal security, and most importantly, how are the people who live there? Costa Rica is very blessed and has all those conditions. Our economy has been contracted now because of the pandemic, since most of the efforts has been directed to keep the health of the Costa Ricans. You know, this is, I was talking to Laura before we went on, that Costa Rica invested an awful lot on the trying to deal with COVID, and we did awfully well. However, our economy contracted because our borders were closed, and our #1 source of income is tourism. So, but now all the borders are open, so we are beginning to see, you know, all the entrants from every place in the world. It was just some, in fact, within the United States, only some states were allowed to come in Costa Rica. Now everyone is allowed to come, this as well as in Europe. And the protocol here is very strict, and the health system, as I will mention it in a little bit, is excellent. And this is one of the reasons a lot of people come here for medical reasons, you know, for surgeries and cosmetic surgeries or eye surgery. It's amazing the amount of medical business that we create from our health issues here. Well, like we said, the political risk, Costa Rica is one of the most stable democracies, and we don't have all those. We're very peaceful. And our weapon is our dialogue. Our judicial system applies equally to foreigners and citizens alike. This is very important because foreign has exactly the same rights as the Costa Rican citizens, except for the vote. But it has all the rights. And that is something that is quite attractive because it makes them feel like part of Costa Ricans, unless if they become, of course, a citizen, of course, they would have the right of voting. Okay. Safety, this is quite important, like Vira was saying. Costa Rica is friendly, very friendly, and welcomes foreigners. They have the same rights by our constitutions as the same as the Costa Ricans. And on the economic part of it, before the pandemic, Costa Rica had a very stable economy. Right now it's contracted. The protections in the Costa Rican financial system help to avoid severe impacts from the past financial crisis, but Costa Rica now has boosted the economy by taking the positive measures and keeping the inflation as low and lowered the banking interest rates. The high level of education among its residents makes the country an attractive investment location. Costa Rica is looked for high-tech investment like Intel, Amazon, and no longer is for Maquila. Maquila is when at one point, we were just making things. Costa Rica is not for that. The literacy rating Costa Rica is 96.3%, one of the highest in Latin America. We thrive on our education, and a lot of the budget in Costa Rica is geared to education. Like Vira was mentioning, it reminded me because in Costa Rica, we also have the schools, the American schools. In fact, with the same schedule time as the American schools, because we do have a lot of transnationals that are here, so their kids go back with the same vacations like they would in the States. So we have the French schools, the British schools, the German schools, the French schools, and of course the Costa Rican schools. So the public school is quite good, very, very good. But the private is preferred by most foreigners because of the language. Though, like Vira was mentioning, mandatory, it's English in the school and French, well, a second language. They can choose either German or French, but English is mandatory. So I wouldn't say that all Costa Ricans speak English, but most of them understand it. And since we are a tourist country, it is important that we make them welcome in their own language and we understand them. I happen to think that the biggest treasure that Costa Rica has at its people. And I'll tell you about it in a little bit because I'm fascinated and I will tell you as to why. Now, talking about health. Okay, this is something that, okay, before I go there, we have a saying, and I really like that saying. For each soldier that we do not have, we have a school. We don't have the army. So our biggest budget goes to school. And this is amazing when you go and leave the big cities here and you see always one thing. Like we are soccer crazy, crazy. So each town has to have a church, a plaza where you have a soccer field. It cannot not be. And also, you have all the things around it, but that is a must, it's something that is very intrinsic, very much a cultural thing. I think it's like the opium of the country, soccer, we were very good, well, a few years ago. And for such a small country, we've done a very good job in soccer. And I think Vira will understand because I know Portugal is as enthused as we are about soccer. So the universities, we have very good public ones and many private ones, but these two are public. This University of Costa Rica is excellent. And the University of Earth, this is where people come literally from all over the world to make studies on the tropical agro-industrial part of Costa Rica. So this is something that is nice. And here, Costa Rica has been cited as Central America's great health success stories. We have, well, I'm citing right here 2 private hospitals, which are very good, but also the public hospitals are just as well. And the reason I mention that is because these 2 are the ones that host a lot of the people that come to Costa Rica for medical tourism, which is what we call it, when they come and have plastic surgery or dental surgery or eye surgery, and they recover here. And once they recover, they go on and do the tourism, and they have different spots in Costa Rica when you can recuperate. So this is now world known, and it has become quite popular for foreigners, especially from the States, because here the medicine is excellent. Most of our doctors, well, they graduate from our universities, but they specialize usually in the United States and Europe. So the medical force and the medical education in Costa Rica is top notch, and this is recognized all over Latin America. Something that I like to mention, because I think not everyone has it, smoking in Costa Rica is subject to some of the most restrictive regulations in the world. In public places, you cannot smoke. And I think that's good, because now we're beginning to see the results, especially from the kids. They're not seeing the smoke anymore. You know, like when I was growing up, it was a glamour to have the cigarette in my hand. Well, the kids don't see that anymore, which I think is terrific, because now we all know the results of the smoking. And let me see. Okay, I'm trying to. Okay. All right. I think this is important. I happen to think what makes a country attractive, not only all the things that we mentioned before, Vira and myself, is the people. I happen to think if you don't have nice people, the rest of it is just not so nice. So I think in Costa Rica, the biggest asset is our people. They're very unique, and it's our biggest treasure. Why do I say that? And I can sort of simplify with this picture. You know, right here we have all the different professions that we have, which is a diversity of people, diversity of professionals, and this is a country that is high tech. So we are not companies come and settle in Costa Rica because of the education. And I think that's very important, not only because it's much higher pay, the minimum salary in Costa Rica is much higher than any place in Latin America. And it's because of it. The education here is pretty high, and it shows in their salaries. Now here, of course, soccer, like I mentioned, we don't take it lightly. This is really something that is taught since the kids begin to walk. And you see it every place. And that's something that is, like I said, is the opium of the country. This is how they distress themselves. And then you have all these competitions. And for being such a small country, we've done such a good things in all the World Cups. Now, to the right, this is something that I really like, because Costa Rica also pays attention to the cultural part of it. We have live music every place. Costa Ricans celebrate everything by 2 things: by listening to music and by eating. We celebrate everything. We have restaurants galore. And Brian, I heard that you really like to eat. You find here food from literally from every place, because Costa Rica is made of a lot of people who settle in Costa Rica. In my case, you know, from Spain and from Costa Rica. And also you have a lot of people from Italy, from France, Jewish people. The economy here, it's not that the families here have settled for many, many years. I think I mentioned the Italians. And now coming from the Middle East also, because we opened diplomatic relations with them. And so you find the music part of the expression of the Costa Ricans. And they're very well educated. We have orchestras, a symphony, and a national theater that is a replica of the Opera House in France. So, and the people who built that were the coffee makers. They wanted to invest the money at the time because the coffee many years ago was our gold grain, you know, and this is how some families in Costa Rica make big money. And those families are the ones who contributed to the creation of this beautiful landmark, which is called the National Theater, right in the middle of San Jose. And you have the most beautiful concerts and theaters all year round, you know, and it's a beautiful theater to go to. And at the bottom, you see, you know, of course, the coffee growers, but we are not just coffee growers. You know, we export the bananas and the pineapples, but our biggest source of income, like I said, is tourism. We are green, so it's an ecotourism. We enjoy the nature, and this is what we are about. And reflects the Costa Rican way of life, which means pure life. This is a saying, like we use pura vida, and that means like hello or goodbye. It's like shalom for the Jewish people, you know, that means a lot of things. Pura vida for us is the same. We greet you, we say goodbye with it, and everyone learns it quite fast. I know I have given many lectures at NAR, and later on, you know, as I've been given some of them, I see somebody in the audience that are not Costa Ricans, and they will yell at me, pura vida, because they have learned that this is a very inherited expression. And the reason I said that people are very friendly, because they like to help you. And the only thing that I say is if you ask for an address, you know, ask twice, because a Costa Rican doesn't like to know that doesn't want you to know that he or she doesn't know. So ask twice before you get lost, you know, to make sure they give you the right address. And the investment opportunities, you know, you have it. You have the developments, you have the commercial, you have the residential, you have the land, the free zones. Free zones are the industrial parks, and developments, you have them in the coastal areas, you have them in the GAM areas, and that has become quite popular since 15 years ago, you know. And the commercial, you have, well, right here to the left, I live just 5 minutes from here. And over here, I live just 15 minutes from here. We have a saying in Costa Rica, we're not far from any place more than 20 minutes car ride. And this is true, you know. So this is an office complex, which is very nice in the most growing area of the San Jose. And this one to the left is a mixed complex, which is absolutely beautiful. You have hotels, you have universities, you have restaurants, you have a lot of social activities, and also you have the living, you have the apartments, you have the high rise, and you have the medical centers. So this is a place where a lot of people go, and at one place you get all the services that you like, and it's quite modern and very pretty. And this well, that's not the statue, sculpture that you see here is done by one of our very famous Quique de Heredia, who he does this in Italy, and he has him now all over Costa Rica, but he has it all over the world, so he's quite famous, and this is one of his products. We have the towers, you know. In fact, this one to the left is Twin Towers, very close to downtown. Downtown San Jose is divided. As you come in from the international airport in San Jose, or close to San Jose, you come into the city, and then you get to the Central Park. It's like the Central Park in New York. You know, we have this huge Central Park. To the right, if you turn right, it will be the west side of San Jose. If you turn left, it will be to the left side of San Jose. This one is just a little bit to the left. This Twin Towers, and it has 30 floors high. This is another building. We also have the gated communities. This one that I'm showing you right here, I was the sales director for this one. It's beautiful. And we built a tunnel in order to have the access east and west. It's right in close to San Jose, but yet just an hour from the beach. And it's very convenient because it's right with this tunnel that we built, that the developer built in order to facilitate the east and west. And that makes it very accessible to either way you want to go. This is another gated community. And of course, we have the mountains and we have the valleys. So you're going to have gated communities up in the mountains, and you're going to have the gated communities in the valleys. And then, of course, you have the exclusive homes. And like Vira was saying, you have the most traditional ones, and you have to the right, the most modern ones. We don't have the castles like Vira has them in Portugal, but we do have the very hills and mountains that really are so plush and so nice, with fantastic views of the valleys. Our views are always up or down, but it doesn't matter what you choose. You're always going to have the green and the plushness, and of course the diversity that we have. And then the land, of course, right now, our company is promoting, the sale of forest reserve farms, and that means that you're going to get a lot of benefits, from creating the oxygen and all the things that implies. And now, because of this green, there's a lot of farmers who have this requisites, but they don't have the cash to really develop it. And this is one of the things that I'm doing to help these people and get the investors they are bringing them from Europe and from the States and Canada. Most of our investors come from Canada and from the United States. And now, because of the COVID, a lot of them come from Europe. And I'll tell you in a little bit why. Okay, due to all the conditions mentioned above, Costa Rica has become an attractive place for retirees, for expats, and for investors. There are investors' opportunities in private forest reserves, like I mentioned it, in free zones. The free zones are the industrial parks. I think it's right here. And this, what does this mean? It means that when companies, transnationals come in, they want to find a place. Most of it is for rentals. However, every so often is for sale. But most of the people who develop the industrial parks, they'd rather rental because it's more profitable. And you have different spots all around the country where you have the industrial parks, not only to help with the benefits that entails, but also to contribute to the economy. Okay. On the commercial properties, like the business centers, malls, warehouses, and residential areas in condominiums, in the formal towers and gated communities, as well as the independent residences. There are excellent options at the beach in the Pacific and the Atlantic coast, as well as in the cities surrounded by mountains, valleys, and rivers. We have a lot of rivers. Right now, because of all this rain, a lot of the rivers have raised, how do you call them? They have risen, and has created a bit of a problem with all the rain we had in the last week. But you see water every place. We relax with water, with the oceans, the rivers, the lakes. It's always around us. And then, of course, because of the rain, the rainy season and the dry season, is plushness every place. Okay, and the free zones, I think it's good to mention that the central incentive for the free zones are exceptions and tax cuts. Waivers are on income tax for initial periods of several years. There are more than 325 companies in this system, placing Costa Rica 5th place in Latin America, generating more than 100,000 direct jobs. Now I'd like to talk about the purchase process in Costa Rica. Signing of the papers is done only through a public notary. So you see, Vira, we have pretty similar things in the process. I was listening to you very attentively, and we have the same thing. So the purchase process in Costa Rica, most of it is priced in dollars. At least in my case, my company only deals in dollars. It's not that we only deal in dollars, it's just that this is how it's been done, and also in euros now. The down payment is usually 20% of the total sale price. The closings are short. It could be done in a couple of days. Due diligence of properties are done. A signing of the papers is done only through a public notary, register in the Dirección Nacional de Notariado in Costa Rica, which is the National Registry or Notary Public. Assets may be owned in corporations. Selling or buying may be done by transferring shares of the corporations or called cession of shares. Inscription of property is done in the public registry. Registro Nacional, we call them registro. This is very important to know. All properties should be registered and known in the registro, known as the registro, where they are able to confirm the history and title chain and determine if there are any restrictions, encumbrances, or liens. Avoiding the purchase of unregistered property is strongly advised. If a property is not registered here, don't even get near it. And that's very important to know, because and that's why I think it's important to deal with local accredited realtor, that we know exactly how to deal in this transaction. So the expertise of a local accredited, educated broker or agent, to me, is extremely important. The closing cost. Well, the transfer taxes plus closing is about 3 to 4% of the total sale of the property. Costa Rican taxes income that is generated within the national territorial boundaries, domestic source or source income. Regular tax, income tax is between 25 to 30%. Though right now there's a government proposal for a new tax package, but I think the people really revolted, and that was the reason people in the media heard about it, because we, like everybody else, don't think that in the private enterprise that taxes should be raised during this COVID transition. So, and it was because of the push of the private enterprise and also the realtors, they withdraw that. So that's good news for the investors. Realtors in Costa Rica. There is one requirement: to work in Costa Rica, the realtor must have a legal worker status as a citizen or as a legal permanent resident. This is very important, because at one point, because we don't have a license, but we do have by SUHEF, which is Superintendent of Finances in Costa Rica, and also the Treasury, we have to be registered. And we now, if you are a practicing broker or agent, you have to be there. If not, you cannot be. So this is important, that it's been established for recently, about a couple of years now. And also our two associations are pushing for anyone who is gonna sell or buy property in Costa Rica to do it through the two associations. Like I said, we have two, which is in Spanish is Cámara Costarricense de Corredores de Bienes Raíces, the CCCBR, which is the Costa Rican Real Estate Association, the one that I belong to, and the Costa Rican Global Association of Realtors, Segregar, and both are NAR bilateral partners. Our association has presented a project before Congress to be regulated by law. It's in the process, and we are very happy because it's going quite nicely. The association membership is voluntarily. There is access to an MLS in both associations. Since last year, the Treasury demands for all real estate brokers and agents to be registered in Hacienda, which is the Treasury, and SUHEF, which is the Superintendencia General de Entidades Financieras, and that means that's the financial superintendents of financial entities. This is, they really supervise all the ins and outs of the transactions that come nationally and internationally. There's an active international real estate relation with NAR and SILA. SILA is the Latin American Real Estate Confederation, and I will be assuming the 19th of November the presidency, and I feel very good about it because I think as a bloc, we thank you, Laura, we will be able to do a lot of things together, and I think now we as realtors have an obligation to contribute to the economy of each of our countries, and in the States, each state. So one thing on the working plan for my year is gonna be just that, to really make sure that each country is gonna have what is the goodness of the country. Like in Costa Rica, it's the green, it's the private reserves and many other things. Each country has their goodness, and this we have an obligation to bring it up and to make it known to the world. Referrals, I think, I also belong to FIAPSI, which is the International Real Estate Federation. So all those international entities help us in Costa Rica through our associations to deal globally, just like we are doing right now. And I think I feel extremely proud because the only thing I miss, and I have to tell you guys, is that being at NAR conferences. I really miss that. I don't like this virtual things. I know we have to do them, but the network and seeing people, hugging them and telling them how they are, it's precious because our business is done on trust, and we develop trust when we have this, what we're doing right now. When I get to know Vira and Laura and Brian, and they get to know me, and then we develop this trust that makes us do and grow our business. So, and that, of course, we go to the Costa Rican referrals, pretty much the same as Portugal. In Costa Rica, the referrals is very welcome, you know. May refer buyers and sellers to find this great real estate opportunity. It's always necessary and wise to cooperate with the local accredited real estate broker and agents in Costa Rica who are citizens or permanent residents in the Costa Rica affiliated to NAR. This, and I think Vira mentioned it, is something that I stress because what is the referral about? The referral about is, for me, if I have a client in California, I would call some of your brokers or agents in California, and I refer my client, and then if that client is a CIPS and all this education that I like to know before I send it to them, then I know my client is going to be in good hands. And that referral is also reciprocal. So, and it is between 20 to 50%, depending on how they get involved in the transaction. And I'll explain that in. Referrals are global fees, practices, and negotiable. The commission vary depending on how involved the referral agent is during the transaction. It is generally between 20 and 30%, and up to 50% of the commission received by the person receiving the referral, and the standard agreements are used. But I want to say something also, because some of the agents or brokers in the United States have the following confused, and I like to clarify it. If any of you send me a referral and I take it, but I don't have the property within my inventory, and another colleague of mine has it, the commission that I share with you is the one that I get, not the third party. That's important because a lot of people do not understand that, and they expect sometimes the 20, 30% of the 5% total commission, which in Costa Rica as well as in Portugal is 5%. But in my case, when I sell total projects, it goes up sometimes to 10%. The most that I have gotten is 7% internationally, but that is a very good percentage, because in large projects, you know, you have I would call them a tail, you know, of people on one side and on the other. So if the commission is high, then of course the probability of paying attention to my property is also going to be high. And that's something to consider. Okay. I also have to mention this because people do not understand it. And I think we should be very clear on referrals from the very beginning. And let me make it clear. The payment of commissions related to international brokers for selling properties in Costa Rica has a 15% withholding tax. That belongs to the Costa Rican Treasury, which means this 50% withholding tax is reduced from the commission payment. What do I do? Because they tell me, well, but I don't pay taxes in Costa Rica, but I do. So if I have a property that that I sold it for 5%, or we sold it in a group for 5%, I pay the government the 50% tax that I need to pay him out of that 5%. So in order for me to share that, then with the commission also, I have to withdraw that from the person because I have paid the government a complete things. You don't do it, but that part you should pay, not myself. Sometimes that's a bit confusing and I take my time to explain it because I think from the very beginning, people should know what are the rules and why are they so. And then again, you know, in all my chats or my talks, we strongly encourage not offering Costa Rican properties in your home market without a referral partner in the country. NAR, CIPS, SILA, FIAPSE International Code of Ethics is expected to rule in the conduct of international real estate transactions in Costa Rica. Because you see, what unites us? All of us have different laws in our countries. What unites us is the Code of Ethics. The Code of Ethics is extremely important to deal internationally. We have our own Code of Ethics, but when we sign as partners of NAR, we have signed to oblige by the Code of Ethics. So that's extremely important, the conduct. That's why all these designations like the CIPS, all those things that Brian was mentioning one after the other, those are important because in Costa Rica, I could have a commission from the seller, but I could also have it from the buyer because I could represent the buyer too, just the buyer as I can represent the seller. Okay, so that is something that is good. It's rather new in Costa Rica. We actually introduced it this year. This pandemic has been very important because since we couldn't go out, what did we do? We educated ourselves with a lot of designations and webinars, practically one every day. And that has done a lot of good results as to how to do business nationally and internationally. Something also very important that I like to mention, because a lot of people think, and especially in Costa Rica, you know, they think that, Ofelia, you're an international business, you know, but I'm not interested in international business. I only do national business. But I like to say to everyone who thinks that way, they're totally wrong. And let me tell them why. Because if I go and talk, like right now I'm doing it about Costa Rica, I am making aware to all of you the convenience and the beautiful country that you should come and visit. If I do that, I am making the possibility of everyone around the world to come to Costa Rica, and that benefits the local market, of course, and the international market. So that is an important thing to encourage people to get into the global business. And I can say very proudly, and I always smile when I say this, I really have friends all over the world, thanks to the CIPS, thanks to the NAR, to FIAPSE, and it's amazing, you know. I had another webinar this morning and I had a call from someone from India who says, you know, Ofelia, I heard you. And it's so nice, you know, when somebody hears you and they called you, and all that encourages you to go ahead and do more for your country. I happen to feel that I am sure Vira feels that way. We are true ambassadors of our country. My obligation is to put my country in a way that you would understand it and in a way that you will want to come and experience our beautiful place. So that's something that I take it very seriously. And I like to know what you need in order to come here. When you come to visit us, please consider the following. I think I'm doing, okay, these are the two associations. I'm talking and I'm not passing around. Oh, here's about the referrals. And this is, of course, you know, we have flights, American flights from every place. Now they're beginning to get it all over, rentals everywhere. But the rentals, let me tell you, sometimes it's not as necessary as the rental cars. I mean, it's not as necessary as most people think, because if you go to a resort, they usually have the transportation, and we don't have the huge distances that you need that, unless you want to tour your country in a very independent way. So a passport is required, must be valid 6 months after arrival. Money in US dollars is accepted. Visa and MasterCard preferred. Rental car companies are available. It may not be necessary for the entire visit, since you may rent by day at resorts. Buy the insurance, even if you have credit card-based coverage. Airport transfers to resorts, many available, can be pre-arranged. And of course, you know, I always say when you come here, do not forget your sunglasses. Costa Rica is sunny 365 days of the year. Even in the rainy season, you know, we have, well, this few days has been the exception, quite frankly. But usually in the rainy season, it rains in the morning. And it's funny because if you don't have a watch and it stopped raining, it's about 1 o'clock. But the rest of the afternoon is sunny. So it's not that it rains all day. No, it's part of the day. Like it will be in Hawaii, if you've been there, you know, it's just the raining, the showers, but you have sun every day. When I travel and I go to countries where the sun isn't there, believe me, I feel like I'm missing something, because I am used to the sun. I'm used to seeing the diversity of the birds and the flora and fauna of Costa Rica. And one of the things that I like to tell you, and this is what I will be my closing, is the opportunities as to why Costa Rica, after the pandemic, it is the choice. I learned, let me tell you, as I'm sure all of you have, with so many webinars, finding out what is going on, the conclusion is this: we are no longer selling properties or buildings or land, none of it. We are selling a style of living, a lifestyle. That's what we're selling. And what happens? Money has not disappeared, guys. They just know, they want to know where to put it. And they've been waiting for a lot of political reasons, what happens in the States, what's happened in Latin America. A lot of political reasons, people are waiting to see where they're going to put their money. So what are they choosing? They're choosing a place with, first of all and foremost, it's going to have a health system, a universal care system that is excellent. That is very important, because now with the COVID, we found out that is something that it doesn't matter where we go, that has to be, because our priority right now is the family. A lot of people are working out of their homes. So we are no longer have to be at a house close to work. It has to be where the family wants it. So, and also a place where the social and environmental are very conscious. Costa Rica certainly is, and the sustainable kind of construction. All this is important, and high tech. High tech right now, well, we are seeing it right now as we're doing this. Costa Rica's high tech is excellent. You have internet every place, and fiber optics, and any place in Costa Rica. So you are connected from any place in the country, in the world. So all those things are very important. Costa Rica has it. And what do you enjoy the most in Costa Rica? Well, it's the plushness, the safety, the green. I wake up every morning with the birds, when I see all kinds of noises that are natural, even the rain, the rain is a beautiful thing to fall asleep with. And then you have the oceans, you have all those natural sounds that doctors are telling us we need it. Because look at now, the homes right now is not how small it is. On the contrary, we need a larger space in the house to have an office. Like right now I have an office in my house. I'm working out of my house right now. But I don't want to be with the kids around me. So I need the space, but I also need green. We need green. We need to go out. We need to expand. We need to breathe. All those things have changed the way we're buying. So this is something that I think some countries like Costa Rica have a big advantage. To retire is ideal. And I just like to invite you, all of you, to come and join me and be part of our paradise. And that's how I like to conclude.
So Ofelia, I used to live in Hawaii, and somebody once told me that Costa Rica was just like Hawaii, except for the monkeys.
That's right. In fact, I remember the first time, Laura, when I went to Hawaii. I used to live, like I told you, in Orange County in California. And we went to one of our vacations, we went to Hawaii for the first time. And I looked and I looked and I told my husband, this is a strange thing. I feel like I'm home. This is exactly the same, the mountains, the breeze, everything else. And it's very much like it. Yes.
So we do have a couple of questions.
Okay.
So Lena has a couple. What province are the Santa Anas where school teachers retire? Do you know?
Well, Santa Ana is not a province. Santa Ana, in fact, this is where my kids live, just 15 minutes from me. This is the west side of San Jose. And it is a beautiful area, very growing, and the high value, it's there. They have very good schools. You have the markets, the private hospitals are on this side too. You don't need to go any place. And it favors Americans. Most Americans who settle, they settle in the west side of San Jose. But let me tell you why. And this is interesting because most people ask me, why the Americans live in this area? This is where I live too. Well, the American Embassy, in fact, is just a couple of minutes from my house. And I remember 20 years ago, the AID building, because of the conflict between Nicaragua and Central America, and that's why one of our presidents won the Nobel Peace Prize winner, advised to all the Americans who live in the area to be on the west side of Costa Rica. And the reason why is in case of evacuation, everyone will be in one space, because at that time, the political situation was a little rough, and that's why. But besides that, it has developed in such a way that is very cosmopolitan. We have the West that is more laid back, a lot of foreigners, and we have the East that is a little cooler, more rainy. And of course, the way we dress here, it's more casual. But you have restaurants galore, you have all the movies, the theaters, all the tours, the 1-day tours, 2-day tours, 3-day tours, within an hour you are in the Pacific, and then with an hour on the other side, you are in the Caribbean. And the difference is amazing in the sense of the plushness. The Caribbean is extremely plush, more humid, and the Pacific is drier, like it is in California. I think Brian mentioned 90 degrees in California is not as hot because it's drier. So this is the difference on the microclimates that we have. We also have 6 volcanoes. We have, this is a seismic country, but we have the best structural engineers that you can think of. The code, the seismic code in Costa Rica is one of the best in Latin America, with the best structural engineers as well. So now that we're going up with the towers, you know, this is something that we like to always say, people who are not used to, but not to the foreigners, mostly to the Costa Ricans who are not used to it.
Let's see. Lena would also like you to show that slide again that has all the designations.
Which ones?
Um,
Designations?
Oh, they're the monkeys.
Oh yeah. Well, you know, no, these are not monkeys.
Oh, those are
these
lemurs,
monkeys.
huh?
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
But you find them every place in the
Yeah.
trees, you know, it's amazing. And you hide the hollering monkeys also every place. I don't know what she's talking about.
Maybe
you mean
this one?
here?
Maybe
Maybe,
this
yeah.
one, yeah.
Okay. All right. Okay. SEGREGARD is the Costa Rican Global Association, which I said is two associations that belong to NAR. And the CCBR, this is Cámara Costarricense, that is us. And we happen to be the association part of PIAPSI, CIPS, SILA, and NAR. But besides that, there's a lot of other designations. This year, we had 4 more designations. So we are, with this time, with the COVID, you know, we really, really got into education, into the agent and the broker, because I think that's what's going to make the difference. If you are prepared and you love your country, then there's no way that someone is not going to give you the business. That's why I think the referrals is also, like Vira said, be given to someone who knows the rules, the regulations, that is very ethical and has the education to back them up. So that's important.
Okay. We have 2 more questions and then we can wrap it up.
Okay.
Lena would also like to know what province is where the Spanish speaking Chinese area. Are you familiar with that?
Yeah. In fact, there's 2. There's one in Punta Arenas, which is the Pacific part of it. But many years ago, they settled, you know, the Chinese settled, and also in some parts of Guanacaste, which is the Central Pacific, which to me, that's the most beautiful beach areas. Let me just make a difference. The Pacific areas is very much preferred by Americans because it's the flat beach, you know, like everyone prefers it. As opposed to the Caribbean beach that is more rocky, more like the Europeans are used to. So to answer the question, the Chinese colonies will be in Punta Arenas and in some parts of Guanacaste. And the new ones that are coming into Costa Rica, but they have also, like Vira says, has stopped because of the money that is not allowed to come out. However, the Chinese influence in Costa Rica has been pretty high in the last 5 years. Yeah.
Okay, and then Zach has a question. Can you please explain the withholding tax one more time, please?
Yes, I'll be glad to. Okay, when there is a sale of a property, there is a tax on it. Okay, and when we go withholding taxes, because we actually holding the tax. Let's say we sell a property of $100,000, okay, and we have a commission of 5%, okay. If I share this commission with Laura, okay, so the commission that I am getting is 2.5, and Laura is getting 2.5 because she has the property and I have the client. But since it is a referral to me, out of my 2.5%, I have to give 20 to 30 or 40% or whatever it is, the negotiable agreement of the referral between the agent or broker in the States and myself, then I have to give her that. But since I have to pay the government 50% of the tax, I have to withhold that part of the commission, or that tax, the 15% tax of her or his commission. I don't know if that's clear. Is it? Is it?
Is it, Zach? Let's see if he answers. Okay, well,
So
no,
to clarify, maybe I could do this and while he's clarifying. So if it was 2.5% that you would be receiving on behalf of yourself and the other agent from the United States who is working with you for a referral fee, that'd be $2,500 on 100,000, right?
Yes.
If
No,
100,000
but
was
out
the
of
sales
that, I
price.
have to withhold 50% tax of it.
Yeah,
Let's
1.5,
make it,
right?
let's make it even more simple. I think I complicated things. Let's assume
right.
I don't have a colleague. I have the property myself. 5%, okay? I get 5% of the commission. So let's assume I'm going to split 2.5 with the states, okay? That referral, I have to withhold 50% tax because I have to pay 50% tax on the 5% commission that I get. Is that better?
Yeah, and for clarification, just, I'm sorry for your accent, or it's probably my accent, but
That's totally fine.
is that 0.50, 50% or 0.15, 15%? And that's what they're
No,
trying
it's
to.
15,
Yeah, that's what I
It's
thought.
15% of the commission, 15%.
Understood. Understood. Thank you for clarifying.
You're welcome.
Awesome. Did you have other questions there, Laura?
I think, let me see. Lena said, now that makes sense. So I think we're good.
Perfect.
I think
Well,
we're
that
good.
was fantastic. Really enjoyed that too. I mean, the beautiful and lush, and of course, to think that I could be on one side, like the Atlantic side on one, and then within an hour be at the other. That's incredible. I know my wife and I, we love to take walks and everything. So I can imagine if we were living here, we would love doing that. And of course, I would have all the coffee I would want, as I'm an aficionado there. But yeah, it sounds like some great countryside there as well.
Yeah,
I was just
there's a lot
curious.
of national parks, and the national parks are at the beach as well, not just in the mountains. So you can, and the plushness. I mean, Costa Rica is unique. It has 6.5 diversity of the world in such a small country, and that's why you see the Earth University. They all come and study that, and on the forest reserve areas. And in another opportunity, I will bring that up. It's amazing all the benefits that one gets by investing in that. You're contributing to the planet as well.
Give us an indication, if you were to say maybe average sales price for, your typical residential home there.
Well, right now they have suffered a little bit, but I'm going to divide it in a couple of things. If you have a two-bedroom apartment, usually will be, a nice one. It will be about, we go by meters, not by feet, So let's say a 200 square meter apartment, it will be about between 200 and 300,000. Homes, you have it, from good homes from 300 up to 10 million. I have properties that go up to 10 million and that are amazing. And I'm really amazing, what you will get in California for 10 million, here you really get something totally outstanding. It's a big difference.
Very good. Very good. Well, I want to thank our panelists, Ofelia and Vera. You guys were fantastic, very energetic. I appreciate all the detail that you brought to us, because of course that's so important as we think about our prospective buyers that we could bring from the United States to your countries. And of course, the specificity as far as how we work with you as well was really good. I think it was very detailed. Certainly we want to be able to keep in touch with you, and I know that this is being recorded, so we'll make sure that Laura gets all of your contact information so we can work with you direct. But sure. I can't thank you enough for making the time. We're on different time zones a little bit, And of course, we wish you well.
Thank you.
Not only during the pandemic, but certainly looking forward to this going forward. Laura and I will try to get the word out some more to our, not only our members, but to other members of other associations. And of course, we hope that we can make this something attractive to our clients that they'll want to bring for either retirement or for other reasons that they might need to relocate. But thank you again. We appreciate it. And we look forward to building the relationship with both of you. And
thank you.
For our viewers, I just want to say thank you for being with us today. This has been exciting. We hope to bring you more of those other countries that are in the list of top 10 and or other countries as the economies are changing. But hope you have a great day. Thank you, Laura, for all your hard work.
Sure.
And for the committee as well. God bless
Thank
you all.
you.
And you guys have a great day. Yes, do we have other questions or
No,
comments?
I just like to thank Vira because she was gracious enough to stay throughout my presentation, knowing that she just arrived from the States with a jet lag and all of it. So I thank you. I think you were very gracious and very nice because I'm sure you're tired.
I loved your presentation, Ofelia. Buena vida. Pura vida, Ofelia.
It's 1 o'clock in the morning for Vera.
Yeah, I know.
Wow. Wow.
Well, thank you both. Thank
Fantastic.
you, everybody.
Thank you.
Okay.
Yes.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Thanks,
Thank
everyone.
you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.